This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by AuthorU and the Book Shepherd. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, we have, I don't even know where to start because I love to share new information, new ideas, new concepts, new ways to move your books out. And it's interesting because this week and the following week, we're really looking at a variety of things. Next week, you're going to be blown away about the problems that Amazon has created for authors. And in fact, Amazon will not be supporting authors anywhere near what they have done in the past because they'd rather sell shoes and other stuff. With that said, this is a way for you to sell your stuff, to get the interested into it. And actually, this is, this kind of two-part area, is that this is a way to look at a different way of visibility, different way of marketing, a different way of creating buzz. So you're going to learn all about a company called BookGrabbr, and I'm going to spell it for you because there's no E in it. So it's Grabbr, Grabbr.com. With us is Daniel Langston, and Daniel is really been involved with Grabbr from the get-go with it, and he is the COO of BookGrabbr, Inc., is the formal name. But the company has developed a whole new way that authors can create tracking. And here's what's very cool. This is a way that even if you have very little numbers in your email list, your Facebook followers, your Twitter followers, you fill in the blank followers, this is a way to expand it globally that you haven't even imagined. And with that, let's welcome Daniel to our show. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Judith. How are you doing? I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm doing great. All right, so let's introduce our listeners, authors and writers, and these authors are at all different stages. Some are just green and starting out. Some are, we could say, some of us are getting long in the tooth. We've been out there for a while, and we think we've seen it. We've done it all. And here's what you all need to understand, that you thought is the old way, like just doing everything through Amazon. You put your book up on Amazon and voila, people will eventually peep, find it. It ain't that way anymore. So Grabbr is one of those new tools, one of those new kids on the block that you should know about it. I've had my eye on it for a year. To see what's going on, and I'm just tickled pink that we finally got them on the show, and we're actually doing a webinar with them on it, so you can go up on the Book Shepherd website and get the replays with that as well. All right, so Daniel, let's just jump in. Tell us about Grabbr.
Awesome. Yeah, so just a few things to note. Our executive team, I think it's worthy of noting this, that we've been involved in the book industry for a number of years. One of our executives is a 42-year veteran, former VP of Thomas Nelson Publishers, and several of our investors are, heavy into publishing. And our beta for the first 2.5 years was spent in the book industry with BookGrabbr, and we had about 145 countries worth of readers and people sharing. And so in everything that we do, I think I'd like to start off by saying in everything that we do as a company, we do with the mindset that the most powerful way to motivate buying behavior is in the recommendation of a friend. And that resonates in any industry, as you're well aware, books, music, in any industry, but especially books, because, many times you talk to someone who may not read very many books, but if their friend says, hey, I'm reading this right now, then that's usually enough motivation for that person to either read a sample of it at least, or go out and actually purchase the full copy of the book, right? Whether that be print or e. So that being said, in everything that Grabbr does, we focus on the referral, the recommendation of a friend. And so we built a platform that allows authors to effectively create campaigns, come in, upload a portion of their book. So if it's a book that hasn't released yet, they can upload a few chapters. We obviously recommend that the more they upload, the better, as a reward. And so they upload a reward that they want to give people to allow people access to read. Then they can upload something that they want people to share. It could be a book cover image, and then they can customize a message. So it's very simple. Upload something you want people to share, and then upload something you want to give people in exchange for them sharing. And so effectively, the author, if you will, is incentivizing their readers to share in exchange for reading. And whenever you upload an extended portion of your book, it doesn't have to be the whole copy of your book, of course, extended portion of, say, a front list copy, which is a book that has not been released yet, then you can do that. Or if you're an author who, let's just say you're a chiropractor, or, you're using your book as a lost leader, because there's several authors out there that we've spoken to that said, listen, we wrote a book just to get the word out there. We're not looking to make millions off of our book specifically. We want more business, and we want more information out there in the ether. Well, of course, that author can upload a full copy of their book. Manny Pacquiao, the boxer, he wrote a biography, and he used our platform, just one of many examples, by uploading a full copy of his book. Michael Hyatt is another author. He's used our platform by uploading a full copy of one of his books, because ultimately what it does is, it fuels people sharing in exchange for reading. In our system, it's very simple. The customer can unlock the chapters or unlock the book, and then share what you've given them to share, either through text message, through email, or through social media. So it's not just readers sharing on social media what they're reading. We allow them to text 2 friends, email 2 friends, or share to social media, whatever they prefer. And so ultimately what that does is it creates a viral marketing opportunity for any author and their book. We have several authors that have come on the platform and, uploaded something they want people to share, say 50% of their book, and then they've uploaded, they've uploaded a reward of 50% of their book, and they've uploaded a cover photo for people to share with a message. And, they've had people in up to 39, sometimes 40 countries sharing in exchange for reading that book, which facilitated lift in sales. And even more importantly, once we deliver the reading, the content, the book, or the portion of the book, then we allow the reader to opt in to give their email address to the author for future promotions. And right now we have about a 64% opt-in rate. So an author that would get, say, 500 people in 39 countries sharing in exchange for their book, they may collect somewhere around between 370 to sometimes upwards of 400 email addresses just off of one campaign. And, the return on investment for the author is uncanny, because the author is only paying per share. We created a brand new system called pay per share. And so you only end up paying for people who share, and it's, it's 20 cents a pop. And, and through, of course, we're going to be talking about a discount here in a little while. But ultimately, 20 cents per share, which also yields, 64 to 70% collection on email addresses, is very affordable, and in many cases less expensive than trying to purchase a like on Facebook. And ultimately what you're getting out of it is people actively sharing that they're reading your extended content or your book. And it's very simple. And our system can take a PDF, it can take an EPUB file. Whatever file of your book that you have will work within our system as the reward. And ultimately, once in the webinar I'm looking forward to, because I can show actually how this works, but because it's fun. But once you've created your campaign, which takes about 10 minutes, you don't even pay anything until the campaign starts getting shared. And we only draft, 20 cents a share, and authors can set a cap on what their budget is, right? So they control their budget as well. Very simple to use, and about 3 years worth of beta went into this, so we're very proud of our platform in its current state. And the author can launch it to social media. We automatically generate a QR code, so the author could put the QR code on their business cards. We even generate a button that says click here and embed a button on your website. So you can even put, if you have the author has a website, let's say they're in a specific profession, like they're a lawyer, and on their website they say click here to get certain chapters of my book, then the author can basically embed the Grabbr campaign on their website as well. It's all very simple, but the Launchpad is very robust. We're connected to 180 social sites. I'll be honest, even social sites I've never heard of. We have a very smart development team. So,
that helps.
Very
That's
exciting stuff.
As you push it out, that's where you get into countries that you don't even know about. Maybe you can't even pronounce their names, but there are readers out there looking for things.
Right.
And you just never know. So that's what makes it exciting on that. All right, so you've got Grabbr and GRABBR.com, and you can set it up very quickly, as Daniel said, 10 minutes or less, and to load everything in, and then you just kind of have to develop what you're going to do with it, and you don't start being charged anything until real action happens and people start finding you. Is that correct? Did I hear that correctly, Daniel?
Absolutely. And if you only get a few shares, you only end up spending, a matter of pennies, and no big deal, So we really wanted to give authors something that would allow them the ability to get a very straightforward return on investment versus just trying to charge them some kind of a monthly fee or whatever. Whatever the author gets is all that we want them paying for. So
which
always works best.
Which is refreshingly unique, I think, in the in the push out world. All right, we're going to take a quick break. With us is Daniel Langston. He is the CEO of BookGrabbr, and this is a way to market your books and do campaigns.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Is there a book in you or another? AuthorU will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. AuthorU brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through AuthorU's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, AuthorU is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join AuthorU today through its website at AuthorU.org. Follow AuthorU on Twitter at AuthorU and on Facebook at AuthorU, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. AuthorU, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
First impressions are everything in the world of book publishing. Whether your book is an ebook, a print version, or both, your book cover needs to pop, sizzle, and sparkle to immediately capture the attention of your audience. And your book's interior needs to be just as dynamic and reflect the professionalism your readers demand. Nick Sellinger of NZ Graphics has won numerous national and international book awards for his cover designs and interior layouts. With over 20 years of experience in graphic design, he knows what it takes to create award-winning books and the many promotional pieces that authors need, such as posters, banners, postcards, one-sheets, business cards, logos, and more. Visit ncgraphics.com and see what authors and publishers have to say about their award-winning books and how NZ Graphics can make your book the success it was meant to be. That's nzgraphics.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, with me today is our guest, Daniel Langston. He is with BookGrabbr, I have to tell you, it caught my attention. I was at a conference a while ago, and I was just kind of walking by, and there was this little computer screen up, and I'm a very visual, and it snagged me. And so I was interested, and I know that Daniel also referred to in the last set who the group of people in putting together mentioned that Michael Hyatt was a user of the product early on, and that when you start seeing something going on, the names are involved, you do pay a little bit of attention to it. And I think that there's always ways to learn how to enhance it and use it out. I know a couple of my clients are very, very successful with it. And I'm going to be doing a campaign myself, and we're going to be doing a webinar. And depending upon what day you are listening to this on, that's always the challenge. We have to, because with podcasts, you can be out there anywhere and listening to things. But what we're going to be doing on the 28th, which is the next week, if you listen to this live on Wednesday, the 28th, it would be 2:00 Eastern, noon Mountain, 11 Pacific Coast time. We're going to be doing a full-blown how-to visual demonstration demo, literally, demo as it usually says, of how you work through and build a campaign, and you can see how it works, and you'll see examples. So that's on the 28th, and you can take advantage of that. If you want to pre-sign up for that right now, all you have to do is go to either the events page on thebookshepherd.com or on AuthorU.org, and you'll find them. Just click down, and you can already pre-sign up if you're not on our regular email list. So, Daniel, we're going to jump back into this right now and get into that. So what would be, what's some of the skepticism that you might run across with some people that were saying that hear about it?
Skepticism? Mm-hmm. Really, it's more questions than skepticism. It's definitely a market disruptor, because never has there ever been a platform where, incentivization of shares has occurred from the standpoint of someone being able to customize a message and then allow people to share in exchange for a reward that they're giving them. And so, a lot of times, there's more questions than skepticism that come up. And the questions, educating the market is something that we've been very keen on trying to do the past few years. And, university presses that we work with, like UNC Press and University of Nebraska and Cornell and several of those university presses that we work with that are using this for their front list titles, especially, they've, of course, called us and asked plenty of questions. So what if a book doesn't get very many grabs, which is really just a grab is when someone grabs the reward in exchange for sharing what they're reading in real time with their friends, right, or sharing the message. Mm-hmm. And so, our response to that is, well, it a lot of times depends on the launch pad, and it a lot of times depends on the reward and how valuable the reward is being perceived in the eye of the consumer. Very much like someone buying something that may be overpriced or not viewed perception-wise as valuable enough in their eyes to do something in exchange for something else. So a lot of the questions that center around our technology are not as skeptical as they are, wow, this is really cool. Okay, so it's a great concept. I've uploaded my campaign. I've created it. Now what? You have a launch pad. It's very robust. What do I do? What are these questions? And we even have a little help button at the bottom, and we have a customer service team that's very good at answering any and all questions that come from our users, very specifically. And this team is very familiar with the book industry specifically, which is of value, of course, to authors because we can speak the language. And so ultimately, there's just a ton of questions that have come in because it's just such a new technology. When we're talking about even taking our technology to the next level for authors specifically, because authors are selling their books at places like Barnes & Noble. They're selling their books at Books A Million. They're selling their books on Amazon. And, of course, we're in talks with a few major retailers right now about building our technology into their shopping carts to give authors the ability to create more referrals directly in the retailers, right there at the shopping cart. Share that you're buying this book in exchange for a small discount on the book in real time, and you get the discount at checkout. So, so there's a lot of education to the market that needs to be done and that we are currently doing, but really we haven't been faced with skepticism as much as just a plethora of questions.
You know what? I have a question that because we get to sit all the time with authors, they would love to have people buy their books from their own website because they get all the money right away, or whatever, discount to do that. Do you have the capability of making the author's website or the publisher's website, the buy point versus B&N or Amazon or Books A Million, fill in the blank?
Not the purchase point, we don't, but we do have the ability to allow the author, whenever they create their campaign, can easily take the campaign link and create a button on their website, on say the front page. It's so funny because so this is going to sound out of left field, but I'm going to bring you full scale back to what we were talking about. So
I love left field. I love left field.
Well, one of our clients is the first FAA approved flying vehicle. It's the first ever flying car, and it's out of Shreveport, Louisiana. They ran a sweepstakes with the Grabber campaign because you can also do a sweepstakes on our site. You don't just have to upload a portion of the book. You can do a coupon. You can do a video, any reward you want, any digital reward. Could even be a sweepstakes. Share this and enter to win, right? And so they said, share this message about Skyrunner, which is the name of the flying vehicle, and enter to win a full day of flying in a vehicle. And, of course, before we did that, they asked if our team would like to fly, and I ended up going 1,200 feet up in the air. The funny thing about this whole thing, though, is that they ran the sweepstakes for a month and a half, and what they did was they built a Grabber campaign. They took the link from the product page on the campaign, which on the launch pad it says copy campaign link to clipboard. You can just click the button and it copies, very much like if you were to right-click and then click copy a link. And then you can paste that link anywhere you want. And so what they did was they created a button on their website, and they put that link in there where people could, and it said enter sweepstakes here. People could click the sweepstakes there, and they could share about a video about Skyrunner in exchange for entering to win a contest, right? And ended up getting the attention of Greg Grunberg, who is on Star Wars, Star Trek, Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, shared, and John Heater from Napoleon Dynamite shared. Wayne Brady shared. We ended up going to LA and having this big thing, all because of one simple Grabber campaign that was created but put on their website. And so when you talk about that, Judith, I'm glad you brought that up because anyone with a website can create a campaign, take the link that will direct people to that campaign and put that campaign on their website. Once they share in exchange for the reward, there's also on the reward page a button that says click below to purchase full copy or to shop. And, of course, that's a link that can take them to purchase a full copy of their book if they want to. But it's always on a third-party site. So to answer your question directly, no, we don't facilitate helping sell. But, yes, we do facilitate putting campaigns on websites that would drive more people to purchase, if you will, to purchase the book. And that's been of great value to many companies thus far. So
Right. So the reason why I brought that up, Daniel, is that I know what we're going to be revealing next week is on the show is how Amazon is actually sabotaging a lot of authors with different games and publishers. That even if you get them to drive to Amazon to buy the book, they may not be buying it from you. It could become from
goodness.
It's a huge, humongous problem that has just surfaced, and so that maybe you need to talk with your team about some other alternatives here, because that or maybe you get it into a bookstore or something. I mean, there's all kinds of Mickey Mousing going on and game playing.
Well, Judith, we are actually meeting with Ingram Distribution with their we're meeting with their executive team next week to discuss certain aspects like what you're talking about right now. And from a retail standpoint, we're going to be discussing the future of retail. We'll have some insights for you on our next conversation regarding that. So I'll definitely bring that up with them, because I know that's something that they're trying to hit head on for authors as well. So.
Well, they're part of the problem, because they're selling to Amazon. They're part of the problem. And so it's huge. So I think that you need to have now a plan C. Think about another plan C, that maybe it's not going to be from these giants. Maybe it can be directed to a small independent bookstore that might be able to handle that. Because there's no even guarantee with the Prime, that if you're a Prime member, that your book will be even qualified for Prime anymore. I mean, I have to tell you, Daniel, it's really scary what's going on. So, with that said,
that sounds crazy.
Yeah, we have that. We're going to take another break here, but again, Grabbr is something that you should really start becoming familiar with real quick. It's GRABBR.com, and that it's something that the team that you've got a huge back. It's like this advisory board of people. How do you sell books? How do you push about? How can you do it in what really is called, you have to think of this as viral sharing. So it's like, okay, if you take a peek, I'm going to give you maybe the whole book you offer. If you will agree to share it and tell other people in your Facebook, in your Twitter feed, in your Pinterest feed, and Daniel's going to go through the whole stream you can do about your book, then they get the.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
Want to publish like a pro today? Well, then take a look at Ingram Spark, the only publishing platform that offers print and ebook services through a single source. Upload, edit, and manage titles all in one place. Take more control of printing costs with print on demand, and reach even more readers through one of the world's most extensive distribution networks. Built by independent publishers for independent publishers, Ingram Spark has everything you need to maximize your book's potential: color printing, ebook distribution, print on demand, global reach, and more. Start publishing with Ingram Spark today and see just how far your titles will go tomorrow. That's ingramspark.com.
Many of us have dreamed of writing a book.
Some of us even have.
Then the hard work starts.
You'll need an editor.
Who will design the cover or typeset the pages?
Who will format the ebook?
If you're a business owner, consultant, or coach with a serious message and expertise to share, the team of experts at 1106 Design can guide you through the maze.
They've helped more than 1,000 authors create top-quality books and avoid the not-so-reputable self-publishing companies.
Learn more at 1106design.com.
Then call Michelle at 602-866-3226. 1106 Design.
When
Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Well, this is all about what to do now. What do we need to do now to position ourselves, to market ourselves, to get the buzz out, to sell books. And Grabbr.com, Grabbr.com, is one of those what we can do now areas. With me is the CEO of the company, Daniel Langston. And we're really talking about some of the strategies that you can use to move it out. And as I said, as we went to the break, you need to think of this kind of methodology is viral sharing. So when you see something, for example, I'm a fan of The Voice, and you'll see people will talk about, I saw this person that had over 1 million views. Okay, that's a viral sharing. And what you want to do is create viral sharing with people who already know you or familiar with you and love you, that will be willing to share it with other people, who in turn will share it with other people, who in turn share it with other people. Does that kind of sum it up, Daniel?
It does. And here's the funny part. So everyone thinks of viral in terms of millions. I think it's important to note that anything that's viral is anything, by definition, is actually anything more than what organically they're used to seeing on a regular basis. And so, I'm going to use, one of our clients is, and I can't name them by name, but I can say that they do about $80 billion a year in business, and they're not in the book industry. They're not in, they're a very separate industry, but they've used Grabbr several times. And they've shown on every single campaign that they've built about a 400% to 500% increase on what they're used to seeing per post on an organic campaign. Just to explain that, if you're an author, apples to apples here, if you're an author and you're used to seeing on your social media or on your emails a certain amount of engagement, and you run a Grabbr campaign and you launch that campaign to those followers, then what you're going to see is a huge spike in engagement overall. If you're used to seeing 1, 2, 3, even 20 shares per, so we had somebody who averages 20 shares per post a Grabbr campaign and get 300 people on one post sharing an exchange on 6 different platforms, might I add, 2 of which they weren't even engaged on themselves. And so, they didn't have a Pinterest account, yet 10% of their followers preferred to share on Pinterest in exchange for their reward. And we allow them to do that on our platform. And I do think it's important to note that we also have analytics that display what's your social reach, right? So how many people are able to see the campaign, and then our analytics show you how many people actually clicked the campaign? Because everyone out there, so I know, Judith, you're talking about Amazon here. If I could switch the mode a little bit and talk a little bit about social media, all the social media platforms have algorithms that govern the number of followers that are able to see each post. And there's a lot of rules on that. So if you actually send out a post on Facebook and the word share or the word like or the word comment is in your message section of your post, their algorithm cuts in half the number of people that can see that post, because Facebook doesn't like you to put those words in the message section. And, of course, our team keeps up to date on all these things, which is valuable. But it's important to note that social media, if you have, say, 10,000 likes on Facebook, right, then only a very small percentage of your fan base is actually even going to be able to see that post. The rest of them, Facebook just cuts off. And so what Grabbr does is it organically allows people to share to the platform that they prefer to share to, and then we display all the realistic results so you can see the total social reach, total number of people that are being shared to, but then how many of those people are actually clicking on the link. And that's going to give you some insights into, wow, the social site I shared to doesn't give me the results organically. Not a lot of people that are able to see it or that they're being shared to are actually seeing the post to click the link. And in some cases, more than you may have thought are. But our analytics give you a lot of insight into that. And then further, how many people are clicking through the link all the way to sharing, all the way to reading, all the way to grabbing, all the way to clicking to purchase the full copy of your book or in the print format that you've allowed them to on our site. And even furthermore, we have an IP tracker which can tell where these grabbers are, what city, state, zip code, what country. There's a value to that. Some authors want to get published by a major publisher. You know what? If you go to a major publisher and say, hey, I have proof that 200 people in Slovenia are sharing my book, I not only need a publishing deal, but you want a licensing deal for your book and a publisher in Slovenia. This is a horrible example, Judith, but just right. An example. It's arbitrary, right? Well, then you're able to do that because you have proof of where people are sharing your book. Not only that, but it's also fun to see that you have people sharing in countries that you've never been to just to read your book. And now you can communicate with those people because we collect email addresses that you can continue marketing to those people for. And lastly, I will say this. By us integrating the ability for people to text to friends or email to friends, Judith, from our beta platform to our Grabbr platform, we have seen a huge uptick in sharing because the younger generation prefer to text. There's an older generation demographic that prefer to email, that wouldn't consider sharing on social media. And when you're talking about emailing friends or texting friends in exchange for content, there's a very high open rate from friend to friend, if that makes sense, versus just sharing to Twitter.
Oh no, I agree with, because I know on one that I did, I had over 300,000 shares on Twitter. But the reality is that a lot of these people, who knows what they are, but it's the friend-to-friend would be number one. Now, I know that you have a relationship with MailChimp. Not everyone's on MailChimp. So how do we get into our email databases if we're not on MailChimp?
That's a good question. So MailChimp is just the start. So I'm going to start by saying that. We're also going to be integrating with other sites like Constant Contact, Infusionsoft. Some people have their preferences. I'm going to keep mine to myself. But that being said, we're integrating with those sites to make it simple to build a campaign on those to market to your subscription list. But to make it easy for y'all, on the Launchpad, we have the link. So when you get to your Launchpad, there's a button that says copy short campaign link or copy full campaign link. Well, we provide you with a short campaign link and a full. It's the same campaign link. If you're fairly digital savvy, then you know the difference between the two. If you're not, it doesn't matter. They're basically the same thing in terms of having a campaign link. But you can copy that to your clipboard on your computer and then paste it in. So let's just say you use Infusionsoft and you want to market through that. Well, when you build, no matter what you use, whenever you build an email campaign, you have the ability to put in the email body an action button. with a link embedded in it, right? And so you can just copy the campaign link from the dashboard and then paste it into that email button that you're creating. And the button, you can name it something like get 5 chapters here, get full book here, click below and follow steps to get full book here. Anything like that works very well in an email. And so ultimately, our Launchpad allows you access to that campaign link. If you have trouble because you don't know, you click the button and you go, okay, where did it go? It basically copied it for you instead of right-clicking and clicking copy on a link. It just does it for you automatically, so that whenever you go to your email subscription email builder, whatever company you're using, and you go to paste in that link, well, all you have to do is right-click and click paste because it's already copied to your clipboard. An easier way to do that is even on your Launchpad. You can just go to the URL at the very tip top of your Launchpad, and that is the URL that you can use for the button. You can just use that URL. It's the same thing.
Okay, I love that idea. So actually, while you were saying that, I shot off a fast message to my VA, my virtual assistant, saying that we're going to be doing a campaign tomorrow. Get ready. I'm sending it to you in 40 minutes. So I did the copy because I'm sitting with 10,000 emails, and they're not through MailChimp, and they're not through Infusionsoft. We use something called Active Campaign, which we found much more easy peasy than Infusionsoft. We kissed Infusionsoft goodbye, and that really has some great bells and whistles. So,
awesome. And however many opens, you have a new book coming out as well.
That's it's for the new book.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's exciting. So
yeah. Now here's the other thing. I want you to. We're about 40 seconds away from our final break. But Daniel, I'd like you to get into different types of catches, maybe that will get people to open and grab. And 2, I'd like you to really talk about that really alternative push to do it in, and what someone should be doing once they're in a grabber campaign. Because I think some of us just jump into stuff and then we think, okay, well, we don't have to think about this anymore, which I think we'd all love to do. But maybe how they have to become a little bit more active with that. All right, so we're going to be right back. We're talking about marketing, buzz building, really branding for you in your book. This is AuthorU, your guide to book publishing, and I'm Judith Briles.
Is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the book shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider, or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the book shepherd. If you want to create a book with no regrets, give her a call today. 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
One of the most important decisions you will ever make is your choice for printing your book. You are choosing a company which will be responsible for guiding you through the process and printing your book at a level of quality and detail that embraces your personal and creative needs. You want to choose a company that when your book finally arrives, you are delighted and ready to move on to the next level, and one that is customer focused. Choose King Printing Company and Addy Books to be that company that brings you to the next level. Go to kingprinting.com or call 978-458-2345 and ask for Tom Campbell.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, our final segment. We've been talking about Grabbr, GRABBR.com. I'm going to be doing a webinar next week, and if you go, Daniel's going to actually do a live demo and take you through how to see it. It will be at 12 noon Mountain, which means 9 Pacific, and 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and of course 11 Central. We don't want to leave the Central Zone out. And that what we're going to be doing is really showing you how to set up a campaign, how you put it together. We'll show you some live results, which is always kind of exciting. And you can register at either of my two sites, AuthorU.org, and just click on events, or go to thebookshepherd.com and click on events. And do get involved with it, because when you can visually see how it works, it makes a difference. Instead of thinking, oh, I hear all these words, but it's churning. My head is spinning with this. All right, so how can we do some unspinning here real quick, Daniel, as we do our last segment here?
Well, to simplify a few things, just if I could recap a little bit. So It's as simple as this. An author, as an example, goes to the site. They sign up just like normal. And it's just the first thing that pops up says, create your campaign. There's a very simple 6-step process. It takes about 10 minutes. And the steps are extremely simple. There's only a few little form fields on each step you have to fill out. First, you upload what you want people to share, and you give your campaign a name so that you can recognize what it is. Then you upload a reward you want to give people in exchange for their share. Then the next 2 steps are setting the parameters. How many people do you want to allow access to grab in exchange, or to share in exchange for your reward if you want to cap it? So authors may come in and say, okay, the first 50 people that grab and share this will get access to my full book. Well, our system, you can do that. You can cap it, and you can control that. Then you set your budget, which is very simple. And then from there, you preview the campaign. So we have a page that you click, that's the next step that says, here's what your campaign looks like from the user experience, and it's four little bitty things that just say, here's the social card that shares, here's the product page when people click the link that they see. Once they click unlock discount, unlock chapters or unlock book, depending on what you uploaded as a reward, then it'll bring them to a page that says, to unlock this, simply share this message with your friends. and then they share, and then of course from there it shows them the page that it gives them. So the reward page, which just thanks them for sharing. After that, you just click launch. You can launch your campaign, and when you do that, you even can set in the parameters I was talking about. You can set how long you want the campaign. Do you want it to go for 1 day, 7 days? You want it to go for forever? And of course, you can always log in and pause a campaign or stop a campaign at any point in time. So even if you select forever, you can stop it 3 days in if you want to. It's no big deal. But the importance there is controlling the budget for the author, making it very simple for them to create a campaign, and then making it easy to launch. So that's very simple. Once you do that, it brings you to your Launchpad, which has the availability for you to launch through Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, over 180 social sites. There's little links that you just click on a social icon, and it'll automatically pre-populate. All you have to do is write a message to your friends. You can even tag friends directly to launch your campaign. And listen, we recommend you can even click Facebook Messenger and directly message friends through Facebook Messenger. If you from there, we give you a QR code. The QR code, we recommend to authors, don't just share on social media once you build a campaign. Get that QR code and print that out on your business cards. Put it on, if you own a business, put it as like a table talker, at checkout where people can get a free copy or a free reward. All they have to do is share about your business. There's multiple ways. The QR code just allows people to scan it, and it brings them to that Grabbr campaign where they can share in exchange for the reward. It's just really a quick way to get that link. And let me also say one more thing about that. QR codes, we've had the question several times, aren't QR codes going out? And to respond to that, we say, well, they've actually, contrary to popular belief, they've been growing in interest by 5% per year since 2008, which is why Apple, on their latest release, actually, and all of you should know this they're listening to the show, you can actually open up your camera on your iPhone, if you have an iPhone, and you can hold it over a QR code, and it'll scan it for you automatically now. You don't have to have a separate app. You can do it right there with your phone.
Yeah, and that was a pain in the neck because you did have to have that, and you switched around.
Oh, my goodness.
I think that turned a lot of people off.
It did. Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering when they were going to do that. So that's one reason we have that QR code, because it's much simpler now to facilitate that. Then we have, the short and long campaign links for you to use to email to your subscription base. After that, once you launch, there's a button that says Campaign Metrics and Analytics. Well, you can watch in real time. You can watch those grow. But our system will email you as your campaign gets shared. Hey, congrats, you've got your first share. Hey, congratulations. The first person in a foreign country has grabbed your campaign. Click here to check out where. That's kind of fun stuff for an author to see. And so we'll be sending you, our system automatically sends you emails with updates on stuff like that, which keeps it easy for the author to remember. And we do recommend to the author, share as much as possible. As frequently when your campaign analytics slow down, just reshare. But even more importantly than that, use the QR code, use the short campaign link, put those in places that would be easy for people that even if you're talking to on a day in, day out basis, and you want to give them a copy or you want them to gain access to a copy of your book or to a portion of your book, say, hey, listen, actually, yeah, my book is releasing. You know what? Hey, scan this QR code real quick and get this. You could be at a book signing and say, hey, three chapters of this book that's 3 free chapters, which is more than you can get anywhere else, is available. All you got to do is scan this little QR code right here and just agree to text 2 of your buddies, email 2 of your buddies. That way it's very insignificant. A lot of people may not want to post it to social media. That's okay. Texting 2 friends is very easy. They just text 2 friends about the book, and then boom, they get the book. Those friends are going to open that text message. Text message has a 98% open rate. So anyway, that being said, it is also a conversation tool. You can use that QR code anywhere you want as a conversation tool, speaking engagements and so on and so forth. So that's the platform in a nutshell. Once your campaign is over, or once it's run its day course, if you select that you're only going to run it for 5 days, 7 days, whatever, then of course we'll have what's called the Grabbr reveal. And the reveal is where it'll tell you how your campaign is being perceived in the eyes of your followers. It will also tell you where you should be spending your time engaging fans. You may not know this, but the majority of your fans may prefer to engage with you through email, or with their fans or with their friends about your book through email or through Pinterest. And you may be spending all your time on Facebook. Well, our system will tell you that, because it gives the consumer the opportunity to share where they want to in exchange for that reward. So that's literally within probably 2-3 minutes, our entire platform just summed up into one little bitty snippet.
Impressive, Daniel, like you've done this before. So, I love that. And I like you talking about the evolution of the QR code, because I was really jazzed with them. I actually did a video type thing and put a QR code on the beginning sales of one of my books, and did a transparent label that you can go in here and I'm going to be talking about the book and all those things. Or we were doing marketing that way, but it was so much struggle for people. It was like waste of time. Glad to see
you were ahead of the curveball. You were ahead of the curveball with that. Now that iPhone is updated, the funny thing is, this is the funny thing. iPhone, Apple didn't tell anybody they did that. You just had to find out for yourself. So we're telling everybody this, and they go, "No, seriously?" They open up their camera and then they put it over a QR code, and and their reaction is always like, "Wow, that's way easier. Now I can delete my QR reader, app. It saves space on your phone." So
have the other smartphones done that, or is that just an iPhone?
You know what? I'm going to plead ignorance on this one, which, as far as Android devices, there's just so many of them out there.
I know.
Some of them may actually do that. I'm not quite sure, but I do know for a fact that the new 11 release, or the latest 11 release, I think it's actually a couple releases ago, the first 11 was where Apple integrated that into their camera. As far as other devices, I think it's just gonna, you'd have to try it to see. But it definitely saves space on the device. That's
okay,
for sure.
So great. We have 1 more minute, so here's what I want to ask you. That you mentioned earlier that having 3 chapters is just unheard of to read. But what about the idea of just putting up, since it's only is it not only a one-time read for the person when they grab it? Is that correct? They don't have it in perpetuity?
Yes, so we have a security system. There's only one download available per person. Okay. So the fun part is you can't share the email that we send you with the link. You can't share that with anybody else. It won't work.
So But here it goes. So does it make sense? I've got 15 seconds here. Does it make sense to give them the whole book?
It does. For most self-published authors, on a title that's on a book that's already come out, especially backlist titles, absolutely 100% give away the book. Yes, and we have analytics that show value in that.
All right.
So.
Well, happy to be back with you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. Each week,